journey with the day gig, Stormcloud Marketing, now includes officially being a TikTok live creator agency. So we are now able to help other creators on TikTok get started with going live and grow their live presence. And like everything got approved like Friday. So we're just going through the training part of this process, but we're super pumped. Everything is approved and moving forward. Very excited for that. And we're going to be able to help all kinds of people and already have kind of a small group ready to go through that process. Some people have issued an interest from this group who are interested in joining that. So if you go live or you have an interest in going live, you can actually message us at collabs, COLLABS at dusty-thunder.com and let us know. We just need your basic information like your TikTok handle and your contact info. And we'll keep you posted as we get more info and move through this process. But it is all looking very, very cool and very, very excited about that next chapter for the day gig side of things. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder, and I got a story for you. This one is actually from Confessions. Title of this one is, I once faked having a twin brother for 3 months just to ghost a girl I didn't know how to break up with. That's a lot of effort, y'all. It's funny that OP knew how to fake having a twin brother more so than knowing how to break up with a girl. I, 29 male, honestly don't know why I'm thinking about this today, but it's been eating at me for years. When I was 23, I dated this girl I met at a party. She was super into me way faster than I expected. After 2 weeks, she was already talking about moving in, naming our future kids, getting matching tattoos, full speed ahead.
It's too soon.
I didn't have the guts to just tell her it was too much. Instead of ending it like a normal person, I made the worst decision of my life. I pretended to die. Kinda. I created a fake Facebook profile pretending to be my twin brother, let's call him Jake, and messaged her saying that I had tragically passed away in a freak hiking accident. I literally Googled a photo of a random mountain and posted it like it was a memorial. She was devastated. I felt kind of bad, but also a little relieved. I thought that would be the end of it. Nope. She reached out to Jake constantly. At first, it was condolences. Then it was weird things like, I think you're the only one who understands my pain. And can we meet to mourn him together? She was trying to bone Jake.
She was trying to replace OP.
She's like, are you identical twin? That'll work. Is this Jake from State Farm? It got so bad that I had to fake moving across the country for a fresh start just to shut it down. I kept up the lie for 3 months before finally just deleting everything and disappearing. To this day, she probably still thinks I'm dead. Sometimes I wonder if karma is going to destroy me for it. Honestly, I deserve it. Okay. If karma was going to destroy OP for it, what would it look like? I need some Tater thoughts on this one. Let's start this off right. Let's do this right. Hop on up here, Tater. You don't got far to go now. Just a hop, skip, and a jump. Ladies and gentlemen, the heat lamps are on. It's Tater time. If the universe was going to throw karma back in OP's direction, I have an idea what that would look like. What would that look like to you?
I feel like if you're planning baby names at 2 weeks into your relationship, you can have those feelings, but if you're already planning that, YTA for the girlfriend, because I think that's too much too soon.
Too much.
Trying to get matching tattoos at like 2 weeks. I mean, if you're both crazy and you're both into it, then full speed ahead. But to be, it's too much.
Who was the?
It's too soon.
Remember Wedding Crashers?
It's creepy. Yes,
the girl?
stage 5 clinger.
Yeah,
yes.
The stage 5 clinger. I got a stage 5 clinger here, bro.
Yeah, I'll find you. This is too much for me. I had a problem, not wanting to hurt people, and really that you are hurting them by stringing them along. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's wizened up in his age now and has figured out how to break up with people. But honestly, this is a little it's weird. She went too far. I think I understand why he felt the need. I think.
Okay.
She sounds a little wild.
You know what? This situation, if karma does strike, is her finding this Reddit post.
How would you know, though? I mean, how would you know? Oh, because the mountain. It's a picture of the random mountain. The fact that he was like so into it, though, is like, I mean, props to him. I don't think karma's going to get him.
It's Hans Remore. Yeah, Drake's evil twin. Drake Remore's evil twin. Yeah, for sure.
I would, yeah. If she ran into him and be like, no, I'm Jake. Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, 100% see my khakis. This is legit. This is a legit thing. Hey, Mercy dropped the 5 on the YouTube side. Says, anybody else picture the Friends episode of Joey's lover who thought he was actually Dr. Drake Ramore? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I was thinking Ross when he planned his own memorial. Because,
I'm alive!
Yeah, and he's trying to date the woman. She's like, you're a creep. That's what I was picturing when I read this story.
He
but I
just
thought
jumps
so
out.
Good. I have no feedback for OP. Bravo. Well done.
Yeah, but at some point, like, if a relationship is moving faster than you want it to, you have to be able to communicate that,
Oh,
right?
for sure. He was really young. I feel like, I mean, he was still old enough to know better than what he did, but
Yeah.
I mean, he was just matching energy at this point.
How have you had this happen to you where a relationship moved just like way too fast, and how did you deal with it? I'm curious. I want to hear some of this.
Yes.
Gotta respect the commitment to the bit.
I had a guy that we probably dated for maybe like 2.5 weeks, and he told me that he was jealous of the time and energy that I put into Ava, and I was like, well, that's not gonna change. I'm her mom. I'm a single mom. Like this is my life. And then he told me he was going to set himself ablaze in my front yard and dance around just to get my attention. And then he asked if we could go to couples counseling at 2.5 weeks, and I was like,
This is the guy who like threw the present he got
Yeah.
for her.
yeah, he got Ava a Christmas present, and he threw it at my front door and left because I told him I wouldn't go to counseling with him at 2.5 weeks. And I was like, yeah, block. He married someone though. He found someone
Very
to
quickly.
found someone to be cray with, and he
I'm
married
just
it.
kidding. I don't know if he married them quickly, but
Yeah.
kind of
He was creepy.
has that vibe. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another story for you here. This one is, am I the astronaut for hiding my pregnancy from my husband and my mother-in-law? I, 25 female, have been married to my husband, 28 male, for 3 years. My husband, I will call him Joel, and I met in college and married very young. We have both always dreamed of having a big family, and I have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mother. Joel and his mom have always been close, but it wasn't until recently that I noticed how unsettling their relationship truly is. For starters, Joel's mom, I will call her Amy, has always been insanely protective over him. Although he is fully an adult man, Amy only refers to Joel as, "Hey, baby boy." Amy insisted on having the first dance with Joel at our wedding. Okay, that's red flag worthy. And because she was paying for most of it, I let her have that, but put my foot down when she suggested that she should wear a cream-colored dress as mother of the groom. I don't think mother of the groom is like automatically gets a cream-colored dress. I don't think that's how that works. I could be wrong. Amy lives in our neighborhood and has made a habit of showing up unannounced and inviting herself into all aspects of our lives.
Too much.
A few months ago, I found out that I was pregnant with our first baby, but just a few months in, I tragically lost the pregnancy. Damn. Before the miscarriage, Joel and I had been over the moon. Amy was so excited to be a grandmother, but some of her actions made me uncomfortable and angry. For starters, she insisted that she come to all the appointments for the baby. Okay, lady, you don't insist this kind of thing, you offer. When we first heard our baby's heartbeat, she jumped out of her chair and snatched Joel's hands and began to cry with excitement. Joel threw his arms around her, pointing out her grandbaby's heartbeat, while I was left there sitting on my own.
Hell no.
Another red flag. We'll just go ahead and wave the actual one here, too. Although it was still early in the pregnancy, Amy proposed throwing her own grandbaby shower in order to get supplies for the baby to be kept at her house. I tried to shut this down, but Joel once again defended his mom. Okay, I think we can officially go ahead and hit this button as well. Not even through the story yet.
Nah, like jaw dropping.
When I first felt kicks and movement, she ran over and nearly shoved my hand out of the way to try to feel. My final straw was after I lost the baby. I was devastated. Luckily, Amy was not over when I began noticing issues, and Joel and I were able to get to the hospital alone. But after calling his mom to tell her what was happening, Amy showed up at the hospital and cried so loudly, Joel had to escort her out of the hospital and comfort her in the car. Once again, I was left there alone. Look, I understand she raised Joel like he doesn't know any better because this is the only mothering he's ever known, but what the f***, man?
Enmeshment.
This broke me. Although Joel has apologized profusely and said that he regrets leaving me, I'm having a hard time finding forgiveness for that moment. I have to emphasize, other than his unusual relationship with his mother, our relationship has been nearly perfect. After the miscarriage, though, I started sleeping in the guest room and taking more time for myself to sort out my thoughts and decide where to go from here. Everything was fine until a few months ago. I had a few too many glasses of wine at a friend's wedding and ended up spending the night back in our main bedroom. Started to notice the same familiar changes in my body from my first pregnancy, which terrified me. Finally took a test and stared at the little plus in disbelief. Although I want to be a mother more than anything, I couldn't help but still feel the same feelings from my last pregnancy. Maybe it was the wrong choice, but I chose not to tell Joel right then. I booked an appointment and went to the doctor and found out that I was about 6 weeks pregnant already. This is where I might be the asshole. That was about 3 months ago, and I still have not told Joel. I'm 18 weeks pregnant and just starting showing more, and I have taken to just wearing big sweatshirts and baggy clothes around the house. I have loved being pregnant and not having to share the spotlight with Amy. This week, I felt the first little flutters of the baby moving and didn't have to share it with anybody else. In just a few weeks, I can learn his or her gender and not risk having to throw a grandbaby gender reveal for my mother-in-law. Maybe most importantly, God forbid anything were to happen to the pregnancy again, I would rather handle it alone than have to deal with consoling her. But now I don't know where to go from here. Obviously, I can only keep this up for so long, but how do I explain to Joel that I've been hiding the pregnancy from him for months? Should I just run away and start a new life? Mostly kidding. Or am I already too deep, so I might as well just keep hiding it for as long as possible and not have to share my moment with anyone else? I love my husband and I don't want to leave him, but I don't know how I can save the situation and our marriage. Am I the astronaut? We have insight from a recovering mama's boy in here, but before we dive into that, thoughts so far. Ellen, they need counseling or she needs to leave. This can't go on. I agree with that. I don't know if the damage is repairable at this point. You know what I mean? Look, if you're in a position where the reason you're not telling your partner is because you know your partner is going to cause you more pain when you do, that's like deal breaker level problem. So this has to be a firm boundary thing, because right now he's not respecting any boundaries you've had. You tried talking to him. You've tried creating boundaries here. He needs to understand, well, really, maybe you haven't. Okay, maybe you've said I have a problem with this, but until you say, look, I have a problem with this is a complete line of disrespect that you have crossed, and if this happens again, then this. Like there has to be some kind of consequence tied to it for it to be a true boundary, right? So maybe you haven't done that yet. Maybe that's the conversation that needs to happen. Even then, let's say you create this boundary and you get him to agree to never let this happen again. You still have to go through the counseling of trying to sort your feelings and communicate those and do that with him at some point too, so he could really understand the gravity of the situation here and start working on his situation of being mama's boyed for so long. His worldview is tainted because this is how he was raised. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing, right? He thinks he's doing the right thing. Therapy alone, then tell the husband in therapy without mother-in-law, Turner?
That's my...
yeah, that's
that would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Elizabeth Davis says, I love you, but is always a sign. Quinn foresees so many issues. Agreed. Let's dive into our insight from a recovering mama's boy here. Throw away for obvious reasons. This is really good advice, and this level of enmeshment and emotional incest is not quickly overcome. As a man who has been through this journey, I can confidently say that it will always take years of hard therapeutic work and tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the amount of complex trauma that leads a man to this place came early and often and has long tentacles. My brain wanted to say testicles. So bad. I previously have attended one of Ken Adams' intensives and can confidently say that the brokenness of the men I met there was absolutely soul-crushing. And these were the survivors who were looking for a way out. The unfortunate ones like this husband who haven't broken free are both victims and conveyors of generational abuse. It will continue in some form to your child. So please put them first and make the hard decision to stay away. If he leaves mom and comes after you, therapy for everybody. If he stays, fight for sole custody. And if this is coming from someone who left my wife in the hospital with my child to do some bullshit thing that I had no business doing for my just no mother, that was my moment of clarity. But I'm the exception and not the rule in this situation. The combination of narcissistic mothers and absent or powerless fathers who sacrifice their children to To abuse with the weird combination of both extreme neglect and control is super powerful. He needs a lot of help, but so does OP. Extremely mentally healthy people seldom form lasting relationships with extremely unhealthy people. In this process of me getting healthy, my wife also did a lot of her own work so that we could both show up together for our kids in ways that neither of our parents were able to do for us. The work is how you beat this generational curse. Godspeed with your child. I wish you well on this long journey, whichever way it goes. Question: how did it work out with your wife? MB response here.
MB is mama's boy.
MB, yeah, mama's boy. We're good now with both of us working healthy boundaries within our families. For many of the men in this situation, the process starts too late to salvage the relationship, and many enmeshed men are so completely avoidant of ongoing attachment to ever enter into a relationship. There was a few years of low contact with my mom while I was working through trauma and boundaries, but I have slowly re-engaged. That relationship is completely transformed. I show up within my boundaries in ways that I choose, not out of a sense of obligation or in a response to manipulation. Timeouts are given as needed, and my default answer to request is typically no. I show up as the type of husband, father, son that I want to be, not out of obligation. The work doesn't end. Recovering from this type of damage requires lifetime maintenance. Very important point here. Lifetime maintenance. And I think a lot of things that you end up needing therapy to understand do require lifetime maintenance. Peanut gallery here because we're getting a preview of the tater thoughts that are pending here. Tater thoughts, come on up. I still need to get the little intro music for when I hit the tater thoughts button here.
I wasn't sure how I felt about this one at first, but I think in my opinion I've come to the NTA, and here's why. Because she was so emotionally stressed out her first pregnancy. Her first pregnancy ended in a way that was detrimental to OP, and so now she's pregnant again, and the thought of telling someone who she's supposed to be the most comfortable with in this world is actually causing her trauma. And I'm not saying it's like a PTSD thing, but it's kind of like that. She doesn't want to tell, she doesn't want to give up this freedom that she has in her mind of not being trapped by her husband and his creepy ass mom. And I cannot blame her for that, because at this point what she's doing is protecting her child. And I think that she feels that on some level, that she's protecting herself, but she's also protecting her pregnancy and her child. And for me, that is an NTA, because I can't go with ESH, because he left her alone in a hospital when she lost a baby to comfort his mother. And to me, that is unforgivable. I don't know how I come back from that, but if I'm wanting to save this marriage, which it sounds like she does, this is going to be me going to counseling, telling the counselor where I'm at, what has happened, what has led to this point, and then bringing my husband into that without mother-in-law and communicating exactly with like somebody that's a neutral party, someone that is there that can have her back. I guess not neutral, but someone that can have her back and be there for her, because that is what she needs. She does not have that now. Right now it's like 2 against 1, and she's being steamrolled, and she's young. Like in my head, she does not have the backbone to stand up to this woman yet. And so I think having someone there that's in her corner to communicate this to her husband would be the best thing for her if she wants to stay in this marriage.
So I agree with you. And I think, we tell people all the time, make the choice you wish your child would make if they were in the situation in the future. She is choosing her child here. She's choosing the best thing there. Putting myself in hubby's shoes here, like his worldview is he's been essentially, indoctrinated into a cult, and he's been manipulated to have a different worldview here. It's not, I don't believe it's his choice. I say that, but then there's this, when you walk towards your mother and leave your wife in the hospital, like, there should be a trigger there. Yeah. Like it should be alarm bells ringing for anybody, right? But he's been raised this way. I would want the opportunity to fix things for my child. You know what I mean? And yes, I agree with bringing him into there. That you need a really good therapist to be able to pull that off.
Right.
You know what I mean? In a way, because if it's just telling him and trying to get him to understand how you feel in that moment, he's going to run to mommy, because that's what he knows. It would have to be telling him how you feel and why, and then diving into here's how you are, and here's what you are going to need to start doing. And the first thing you need to start doing is not running to mommy right now.
Right. At some point, I don't understand. And like he said, it's a generational curse. I don't understand this type of parenting. Like our jobs as parents is to raise great human beings, that function in society without our assistance, that can go out and be people in this world. You have to cut the cord at some point. And like we're experiencing that now with our teens. We've experienced that with Caden. He has his life. He has moved out. He's in a relationship. Like you have to let them do it on their own. It doesn't mean that you can't show up for them, but you don't get to overstep. You don't get to insert
You got to bite your tongue a lot.
You don't get to insert yourself into every nook and cranny of their life because that's nuts. That is not how life works. And Elise had a good comment. He said he would be missing out on the pregnancy either way because he would be putting the focus on his
that's
mom.
True. That's
and
true.
I think that's a hell of a point to make to that I wanted to bring to the TikTok side.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I do want to keep in mind at some level here, I think she's making the right decision and protecting her child here is the right thing to do. Separately, I wish it was also an option here to, while they are separate and protected here, for him to gain an awareness as to why and then have the opportunity to start fixing things on his own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't, I think creating distance is a smart thing there. And also, as soon as you started talking about the stress she would endure having mother-in-law integrated with this pregnancy, made me think how much of the problems that she encountered the first time had to do with the stress that mother-in-law was causing then too. So telling for the safety of your child, because stress is not a good thing when you're pregnant. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Rebecca said, I don't know if this is fair, but he seems a little selfish for not noticing. He seems a lot selfish for not realizing that your wife is 18 weeks pregnant, because that's a BFD.
Well, his mama hadn't told him she's pregnant yet.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't know yet.
He needs to become a person on his own and not his mama's extension, because this will never work for him.
Hey there, it is Dusty Thunder with yet another story for you. This one's weird. Am I the astronaut for telling my mother-in-law why I have Vaseline next to my bed? Hello, sorry for the new account. I don't want this associated with my other account. Okay, so my mother-in-law, or actually I'll start with my wife, Tara. Tara is lovely and wonderful. Tara also escaped from her little Midwestern hometown and ran to the coast the absolute moment that she could, and I'm pretty sure her mom took that personally. Her mom was born and raised in and around that small town. So my mother-in-law, she is emotionally immature. Tara read that one book about immature adult parents, and she finally understood her family dynamic in the way that she never did before. Mother-in-law's not a bad or evil person. She usually means very well, but she's kind of, I don't know how to put it, self-centered. Like her first thought process is always, how do I feel about this new information? Tara and I bought a little starter home last year. Interest rates, but we're hoping they come down and we can refinance. The place was too good to pass up. And her OPs practiced that line. They're just anticipating people to be like, you got in this economy? And her mother-in-law invited herself over last week. This is something that is extremely on brand for her, and we like to pick our battles in this family, so we just let her. Her mom, who is again not terrible, just has bad emotional regulation and boundaries, shows up and drops her stuff in the spare room and just immediately starts giving herself the tour. Again, whatever, we actually hired a cleaner before she arrived, so we wouldn't worry. Annoying, but that's life. So she's wandering around and comes to our bedroom. I have a jumbo-sized tub of generic Vaseline next to my bed because I use a nose CPAP, and my lips get chapped. So she picks it up and makes this really weird face and says, almost direct quote, "Well, I know what this is for." And I respond, "Oh, that's for chapped lips. I don't jerk off with Vaseline."
See, that's how I know he's a man. That's what he said.
That is how you know he's a man.
Yeah.
That's good job. Good job. He's like, I don't jerk off with that. That stuff's way too thick. He's like, here's what I jerk off with. This video brought to you by AstroClub.
Hey, our first collab.
Our first collab. There we go. Apparently my timing was good because my wife laughed, but my mother-in-law did not laugh at all. Then for the next 3 days, she kept asking me, "Are you going to be gross again?" when I tried to make normal conversation. I said over and over that she was the one who made the joke, and her response was always, yeah, but that was a joke. Like what I said was totally serious. And I guess it was. I mean, I was telling the truth, but I was only bantering because she started it. I didn't even invite her into the bedroom. Anyway, she brought it up over text to Tara, and there is subtle pressure from her to just apologize. But I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the astronaut? There's an update?
Yeah, it's very short. I just forgot to.
It's very short?
Yes.
Is that the update?
Yes, it's not a rocket.
Not, okay. It's not a rocket. Need to put mom in her place. I mean, look, OP, what you did was pretty f***ing tame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she started.
You could have taken it so much further. I know, but the whole you started it like argument doesn't seem solid. You know what I mean? But they started
Vaseline,
it. Like, okay, you still have a choice about what action you take. I don't think you did anything wrong here, though. She knows what this is for, do you? I would have just said, yeah, it's for chapped lips. I ain't gonna tell you which ones.
Okay, I'm pasting.
And left it at that. Would that have been worse or better?
I mean, but she.
Miss Helene, what in this split screen is happening here? We've got Tater Vision. The taut cam, haven't settled on a name yet. But how do you even respond to that aside from what he did? Brenna says, yeah, agreed. I don't think he did anything wrong here. It's like, yeah, it's for chapped lips. What do you think? What are you saying? Tater Vision. We have an update, ladies and gentlemen. I took the advice of a couple people in the original thread, and I talked to my wife about 1, what happened while her mom was there, and 2, how we would manage similar situations going forward. I think the commenters were mostly right in that my mother-in-law was using what I said as a cudgel to get the upper hand. I don't know how else to put that in conversations. What's a cudgel? C-U-D-G-E-L. What's a cudgel? You're pointing at it. A cudgel is a short, thick stick or club typically used as a weapon. A cudgel. It's like that one's got spikes in it. It's like Negan's cudgel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We talked it out and agreed that we would let it go, but if she brought it up again or if she tried something similar again, we would present a united front and we would refuse to engage with her. I guess attention-seeking behavior? Again, I found this all weird and I don't know how to really talk about it or phrase it. Well, you can probably guess what happened. She was on the phone with her mom just catching up and her mom brought up me being gross again. I wasn't on the call or anything, but I could hear her in the other room. For context, Tara finds it very hard to set boundaries with her mom because her mom will just not let some stuff go. She will just keep bringing it up and talking about how bad she felt or why she would do X or Y, etc., etc. Honestly, I'm so proud of her for what she did. She hung the f*** up. She said, Mom, we're not going to talk about that anymore. And then, Mom, we're moving on. And then I just hear her phone get set down on the bedside table. I walked in to check and she had this great little defiant face on, like she was so proud of herself too. I hope that the little rush she got from saying no to her mom is encouraging her to go forward. Thanks to all the commenters and thanks to the person who DM'd me the TikTok about my post. LOL. OP. You know what? It was a blessing in disguise.
I see what you
That
did
was a
there.
stretch. That made it work. Just come on up. Just come on up, Tater. What do you mean? What do I want you to say? I want you to talk about the story. It's hilarious. What would you do
if I had Vaseline on my nightstand?
If either one of our parents made a jokey joke and then we said something joking back and they got offended by it?
Well, neither one of our parents would get offended by
This is true.
jokey jokes. They would just laugh. But if they were...
My dad had to Google and then say the word queef. Playing...
Such a weird word.
What was the game? Cards Against Humanity.
Yes.
The first time that Candy Thunder met him.
I would just be petty as but that's just kind of my, like, you went into my bedroom and picked up my shit and then are asking me about it and I'm telling you and you're insinuating that it's for something inappropriate, that I just leave. Like, also Vaseline, like, is that, I don't think that's the thing. And like, you went into my room, you went into my space, you're invading my space, and so I'm gonna be a petty bitch. Like, that's just the bottom line. Like, I'm not gonna take this and just deal with it and be like, you started the joke, I ended it. So either move on or get the fuck out.
There you go.
So I wouldn't deal with it. But maybe in my 20s I might have been kinder.
We'd be like, hey,
or less, more walked over, I guess.
look, Mom, if your ass is this chapped over this, we'll get you your own tub. Hey.
That's what I would give her. Just like those little ones of Vaseline, the tiny little ones. That's what I would get. Like, just put them in her stocking.
Leave them everywhere.
Yeah. They have different kinds. Get the cocoa butter one, or like there's a red top one. Yeah.
All the kinds.
All the little Vaselines. I would just bring them with me. And like whenever I see her and be like, do you need some? And put it on my lips. And be like.
Also, I know there's people here who use a CPAP. It's a pretty common thing, right?
Yes.
If you use a CPAP, how much Vaseline do you really got to use on your lips? Because this guy's got a jumbo tub for chapped lips. Like he's just gooping it on at the beginning of the night and be like, slap. And he's like, that should do me good.
I use a ton of.
Very little, Ravenclaw.
I use a ton of lip mask. I like do it right after I brush my teeth, right after I go to bed, right
Would
when I wake up.
you use enough to get like a Sam's Club Costco sized
If they had my lip mask
industrial
and a big one
tub?
Yeah, for sure.
You would have an industrial tub of lip mask.
Well, I mean,
How long would it take you to go through that?
I'd put it in a little tub and then just like spoon it out. That's what I would do.
We've got like a freaking lemonade dispenser. She pulls a handle.
Although there is such a thing as way too much like Vaseline or like lip mask type stuff before you go to bed. You get too much and then you're like, it's not a good deal.
That explains why sometimes I look over at night and she's just doing that.
But like it's too,
I thought she was trying to bite her own ear.
it's too slippery. That's what I was gonna say. I'd have no shame. It's all right. Okay, I'm gonna see myself out, you guys. Don't turn the camera back on.
Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Going Out After 9 p.m. when my boyfriend says that good girlfriends wouldn't? Hey Reddit, I honestly don't know if I'm being insensitive or if I just hit my limit. My 21 female got back together with my boyfriend 23 about a month ago after a breakup. We both agreed to try again with a clean slate. We said we would be better with communication and leave the past behind. Red flag.
Who's passed?
Yeah. Who's passed? Clean slate? I don't think those things are actually real. The problem is, I feel like he didn't mean it. I've had some issues with drinking in the past. I'm not hiding that. I used to party too hard to make bad choices, but I have changed. I don't drink like that anymore, and I've worked really hard on myself. I go out, I'm in control, I keep things reasonable. It's not a lifestyle issue anymore. Still, whenever I tell him I'm going out, even to a college baseball game or a fashion show, especially past 9 p.m., he starts acting weird. He'll ask, do you have plans? And the tone is never neutral. If I say yes, he starts the whole argument about how it's just going to be drunk people and guys trying to hit on me. He says things like, if you're out drinking, don't talk to me that day, and told me I should be home a certain time. Basically, I feel like I'm on a curfew, and I'm not a teenager. Even during normal stuff, like if I take a longer shower or fall asleep early, I get texts like, where are you? Or, what are you doing? And it's not concern, it's suspicion, like I'm constantly being monitored. What makes it harder is the double standard. While we were broken up, he went and picked up his drunk female best friend from the club. That was fine then, but now we're together. I feel like I can't breathe without justifying it to him. When I pointed out the inconsistency, he said I was being disrespectful and bringing up old stuff just to hurt him. He's gotten better about some things, like supporting my career and mental health, but when it comes to independence, he completely shuts down. He told me I don't abide by what he wants in a relationship. Yes, he sent me the definition of abide.
What?
And anytime I challenge him, it turns into, maybe we shouldn't be together. Maybe that's correct.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I finally told him I feel like I'm being treated like a child, not a girlfriend, and that I'm exhausted. Now he says I'm the one disrespecting the relationship by not understanding his boundaries. So am I the astronaut for standing my ground about wanting space, trust, and to be treated like a grown-ass woman? No, you're not, but we need to talk about this, right? This is why I feel like the blank slate, like clean slate, and not bringing up anything from the past I don't feel like that's a promise anybody can ever truly commit to. Would you agree with that?
I would think it would take very emotionally mature people to blank space. Or blanks. You got a blank space.
You tailored it. You blank spaced it.
A blank slate. I don't think this guy is not giving her a blank slate. He's bringing all the baggage, why they broke up, and into a new relationship and packaging it.
We need to get you closer to the microphone.
Okay.
There. Okay.
No, he's not giving her that. This is not a blank slate. This is the opposite of blank slate. This is just all the baggage from why they broke up. And for me, I think it's kind of an ESH, because she's tolerating being treated like this, even though she's trying to grow as a person, and he's trying to make this relationship work.
It's a penance
all
for
this
her,
baggage.
though.
Yeah.
Like she's treating it like a penance, like she deserves this, but she's not going to be treated like a child. Like she deserves it to a certain extent.
Yeah, for messing up. She said she made mistakes. We don't know what those mistakes are, what the bad choices that she made. And at the end of the day, if you're willing to forgive someone and move forward in a relationship, those things no longer matter. You don't get to use them against them. You don't get to treat them in this way if you're choosing to actually move forward in the relationship. And I think that's why it's an ESH, because this is not healthy. This is toxic. And together, these people have created a toxic relationship. And I think they are probably people that shouldn't be together.
Agreed. And they can clean slate, sort of, just not with each other, right?
Yeah.
They're still going to carry feelings and experiences from what they're going through now into future relationships, and he'll have trust issues in his next relationship, and he's going to have to work through that.
But here's the part that I think he sucks the worst, because she said anytime I challenge him, he turns into maybe we shouldn't be together. And for me, anyone who holds that relationship over your head because you disagree with them, get the out.
Yeah.
Because that is the end all be all red flag. Like, if you can't have a conversation or even an argument with the person that you're in a relationship with, because it's going to happen, and they use it to end the relationship each time or hold that over your head, that's
the other side of that coin is maybe he's genuinely getting there, and he's like, maybe we really shouldn't be together. And
then end it.
That's what I don't understand. Like, the only way that you couldn't end it right then, if he really meant that, was if OP talked him out of it.
Yeah.
Did OP talk him out of it? Petmo, he's weaponized the relationship.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where he truly means that, and OP's talking him out of it, but not every time, and it wouldn't happen like 20 times. You know what I mean? Like once, twice, maybe. But at that point, it's still on him, because he's getting there, but somehow not letting it be final.
I think they could not be assholes and like separate their relationship and be NTA, but together they create an ESH, and I think that's I don't know. She doesn't deserve to be treated like this, and he has baggage he can't let go of. That is
Well, and also, I don't think this is everybody, but the act of telling somebody you're forgiving them for the past and moving beyond it is much, much different from the act of truly forgiving them and emotionally. You
have to be mature to do that.
You have to be extremely mature, and also continue practicing that every fucking day, because you may decide it today, and then tomorrow you may change your mind, right?
Yep.
So it's something you truly have to commit to. And the act of saying it, I feel like has little to no bearing on the act of actually doing it.
It'd be interesting to know the statistic on like people who cheat and choose to stay together or have some kind of bad decision, and to know how many of those actually last. Because
Indeed.
I would.
Could somebody Google that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's even a study, but it would be very interesting.
Hey there, it is Dusty Thunder with another story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for going home after my husband dangled me over the parking garage edge as a prank, and I thought he was unaliving me?
That's the title.
I'm going to go with a real quick NTA here. Hello, Reddit. This happened a couple of days ago. I went out with my husband to eat at a place nearby that we had booked for that time, and he had wanted to go for a while, and he had been really looking forward to it, and I drove him there, and we parked on the top floor of the parking garage nearby, and we got out of the car and started walking down the stairs, which were right on the edge of the parking garage. He started talking about how high up we were, and jokingly asked if I thought I could survive if I jumped down from there, and obviously I wouldn't have. As we were turning down the stairs and were right next to the edge, which had a small railing before a straight drop, he shouted out, "Say goodbye," and suddenly grabbed me and picked me up and brought me over the edge and dangled me there. I screamed out and was so scared I thought he was going to unalive me, and he held me over the edge for a second. and then pulled me back and put me down, and I was in shock, and he was laughing like it was the funniest thing ever, and I was still processing what he just did to me.
Dick bag. Straight up dick bag.
Okay, regardless of the relationship, if you're encountering somebody who fills up their cup by watching other people near death, probably not somebody that you want to spend time with, generally. I was legitimately shaking and I lost my appetite and mood to be out, and I just decided I wanted to go home, and I told him I'm going home, and he said it was just a joke and he was trying to have fun, and I told him he can come home with me now or he can take the bus, but I'm driving home right now. And he said I ruined the date because he'd really been wanting to eat there and huffed on the way back, and I was still shocked because I was literally hanging over the edge, and I called to tell them we aren't showing up, and I got home and I was just thinking about it and started crying. He didn't even come over and console me and apologize later, but it was like, sorry you got scared instead of sorry for doing something I shouldn't have, and my mood was just ruined the rest of the day. So Reddit, am I the asshole for going home? No. We'll make that official right now. Right now. But pop on up, Tighter. We gotta have just quick feedback. I know we got a little ways to go, but
No, this is the worst kind of assholery. Like, this is my worst nightmare. And what if he slipped? Like, what if she fell? I don't know. The fact that he said say goodbye and then held her over the edge, like, that would create real trauma for me, because I'm very freaked out about heights, and like they give me, like, the stomach gets queasy. Like, this to me would be like, I know like divorce. Like, we're done. You risked my life on a fear that you know that I have, and you went way over the top. This isn't funny. This isn't, no one's laughing but you. If you're the only one laughing at a prank you did, it's not a prank. It's mean, bullshittery behavior, and I would not tolerate it. Like, this is divorce for me, because no.
I would think this is something you could call the police about as well.
Like, this, it feels like he threatened her life. Like, that's how I feel. Like, the whole thing, and like the fact that he was laughing, and like the emotions that I would feel inside, like, not to feel safe with somebody who I'm married to, or would just be
no.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's say hypothetically, OP, you stay. What if you have kids someday? You always have in the back of your mind, like, this, and if this is a like getting off on the level of control,
dude, that's just insane. Like, put me down. I would have been like knee to the groin, been like, oh, pranks on you. That's funny. And then kicked him.
You would have chucked me over.
I don't know. Like, if somebody dangled me over the edge of something, I would have significant shit from that. Like, it would not be easy to get over.
All the poop. And I think we can go ahead and say for the first time tonight, is that one. Go ahead.
Straight up black hole, dude.
Look, he's falling. Kind of.
Right off a parking garage.
Yep.
Like, no. It kind of freaks me out, like, just even.
Yeah. No, that's not okay. Sorry. Not okay.
No
dangling, okay? Just in general, no dangling. Dangling bad. Okay, title of this story is My 24 Female Former It's Complicated Guy, 30 Male, is finally ready to commit, but I currently have a boyfriend, 27 Male. How do I let my current boyfriend down gently?
That's cheating.
This sounds complicated. It's your complicated guy, so that's not surprising, but I'm feeling really bad because my boyfriend is genuinely such a sweetheart and got me through a lot. I've never experienced a guy just loving me as much as he loves me, and every woman should experience this at least once in their lifetime. The problem is he's just not my type. I tried to force myself to like him, but I can't. My old It's Complicated guy had an on and off again relationship with each other. If I'm being honest, he played me and wouldn't fully commit to a relationship, and this went on for about a year. I finally got tired of it and ended the cycle. Then last October, I met my boyfriend while at work, and he asked me out a date. And from the get-go, he was very intentional, and I loved the attention, but I never loved him. Eventually, I cut off my It's Complicated guy and became official with my boyfriend. He tried to reach back out, but I ignored him. Well, last week I was at a party and my It's Complicated guy was there. He asked if we could talk and said he actually is ready to commit. Like, finally, it's been over a year. How's she gonna just believe this? And she's like, good. Not like, seriously? I told him, I have a boyfriend now, and he said, let's just grab brunch and talk. So yesterday we grabbed brunch, and the sparks were there. I told him I need to break up with my boyfriend, but before I do, I want to ensure that he's serious. He said yes, and I agreed to be his girlfriend.
You're already somebody's girlfriend.
The hard part will be delivering the news to my boyfriends. And I don't know. I really didn't want to do it on a Monday and wish I could wait until the weekend when he's off. Unfortunately, though, my it's complicated now new boyfriend wouldn't feel comfortable with that. Mainly because I have to keep up appearances until the weekend.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
I know this is going to be hard no matter what, but how can I most gently break up with my boyfriend? Is that what we're really worried about right now? At this point now, are you really concerned about protecting his feelings? Because the on and off again guy, the it's complicated guy, all he had to do was be like, totally. And you're like, it's about damn time.
I'm ready.
You remember the year you got played? Gee, I don't know. Like, I don't know how that happened. No idea. Seems like you really make people prove things. You know what I mean?
Also, the it's complicated guy is 30.
It's complicated guy is 30. Okay. Also, this might be the one person on earth who can truly clean slate. Mm-hmm. She's like, I forget it all. Sure. I don't think the question is, how can I most gently break up with my boyfriend? I think the question is, what the f*** are you doing? But also, look, just rip off the Band-Aid. Don't worry about being gentle here, because what you've truly done is not a gentle act at all, right? It seems like you're lusting after it's complicated guy. And that is overriding anything else. And that's fine. You don't like your boyfriend anyway, but you should have broken up with him already if that was the case. It sounds like you're just now mentioning that you never really loved him and like you don't really like him because it's complicated guy has shown back up. So
to let the boyfriend go.
It's complicated guy has your number. Yeah, the boyfriend, you truly need to let go and do it now and just be like, hey, I'm a bitch and here's where I'm at. And he'll be like, well, yeah, you're right. You are a bitch. And that'll be the end of it. And that's probably the best thing that you can do is be frank and upright and communicate with somebody, maybe for the first time. Elise dropped the 5, said OP needs to break up with him regardless. Mr. It's Complicated is going to retract, but boyfriend deserves better. I would agree. Yeah, he's going to flake out at some point, right? But, dang.
Just create a vanishing twin.
Hey, a vanishing twin. There you go.
Say that you died, and you can ghost him. Because that's the mature way to
that
handle a breakup. Or anything.
Yeah. She will regret this for sure.
Yeah, Ramona, OP should spend some time alone.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, and try to figure out what it is that Mr. It's Complicated has that keeps triggering her. Right? I mean, I'm sure she has a good idea. It's probably a big bucket of Vaseline. It's complicated. No, it's not. It's Vaseline. Hello, it's Dusty Thunder with another story for you here. The title of this one is, My Wife Went Out to Lunch with a Guy She Met at the Gym. I think this is a huge no-no. Am I overreacting? My 39 male wife, 39 female, and I have been together for 14 years, married for 11. I've been cheated on in the past several times, so I'm very sensitive to any behavior that could be construed that way. Not by wife, though, right? He says been cheated on in the past, does not say that wife was the one who did that. My wife goes to the same gym 5 days a week and is always there when they open at 5 a.m. It's a serious thing for her. I personally go 3 days a week, but to a different gym. Needless to say, conversations have been struck up with her by various people for the last 5 years or so. One guy in particular who is divorced and 15 years older started being friendly to her a while back, not sure how long exactly. A conversation arose about a good lunch special at a steakhouse in town, and it became an ongoing thing. You gotta try this pork chop, etc. Well, on Friday afternoon, she went to lunch with this gentleman, and then when she she came home, she mentioned that her leftovers were from this place and that she went with a friend. Never said anything about a work friend, so pressed a bit more for curiosity's sake. She told me what happened and swore up and down that nothing happened and she's not interested in that way. I will say our marriage had its up and downs, but the ups were way higher than the downs. My wife has not given me a reason in 14 years not to trust her. However, the circumstances are quite suspect. What does everyone think?
How would you feel if I did this?
How would I feel if you did this? So we have to preface it a little bit because OP came into this relationship being burned and already being highly hyper aware, right? And already drawn to suspicion, not because of his wife, but because of previous relationships. There's the little bit of that, like you can't punish the partner you're with for your past. But you also can't deny that that's your past and that you're sensitive in those areas. And I would hope that I would have communicated that with my partner and this would have never happened in the first place. And if it did and she knew I had those predispositions coming in, then it would be crossing a boundary and blatant disregard for how I felt. That's where I would be. It would be a big deal to me. And also, we talk about everything. So if there was something that either of us had intentionally kept from the other until after the fact, I feel like we would know that the other knew it was wrong. There's a reason she didn't tell you until after. Okay, here's the get it. We have had a lengthy discussion about all this. She didn't necessarily hide it from me, and I didn't have to prod her much at all for her to tell me it was a man from the gym. She's known him for 2 years in passing, and they talk occasionally. She has never given me a reason to think that she's cheated. This time just seemed very sus. 2.5-hour lunch.
That's too long.
That would have been useful information, OP. And she apologized a lot for forgetting to tell me that she was going to do this. She's very scatterbrained and forgetful, so it's not out of the ordinary. Anyways, thank you everybody for the rational, sane, helpful advice. Luckily, I did most of that before I saw all of your replies, so I think we are okay now. Thank you again. Did what? What did you do? What did you do before? What? That would make this okay. Like a 2.5-hour lunch. And if she was apologizing for forgetting to tell you that she was going to do this, then it wasn't a last minute thing. How many days did she know that she was going to do this leading up to it and chose to hide that from you until after the fact? Why? Because she brought frickin' pork chops home. If she hadn't had leftovers, would you have known at all? I think, plot twist, you're the one having leftovers.
Whoa. 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 It's too far.
That was too far?
I don't know.
Felt right. Felt right. You know what I mean? Felt right.
Oh, I think 2.5 hours for a lunch.
2.5 hours for a lunch is too much.
When you're married is too much.
Yes.
I would feel,
And she knew ahead of time and just forgot.
It's also just a lot of conversation.
2.5 hours worth of conversation. Yeah, I mean, there are some people that could just bullshit about anything for 2.5 hours, but still.
I'd be looking at him. I'm getting antsy. I gotta move. My ass is asleep.
My ass is asleep. Yeah. Come on, God, just get up here. I don't have a mic over there yet. It just pains my soul. I need. You don't know what?
Maybe that's her thing. Maybe she. I don't know.
Maybe she likes 2.5-hour lunches.
Could totally just be an innocent 2.5-hour lunch. But I feel like if you're married and you go to lunch for 2.5 hours with a man that your husband does not know, I think that's the key point in this. That I find it disrespectful. Other people may be like, whatever, it's fine. I don't give a f. Totally cool if that's how your relationship runs, but that is not how our relationship would run.
And
I would feel
it's not how the individual feels. It's how what are the expectations of the relationship.
Oh, good point, Lisa. Who paid?
Ooh.
Yeah, we don't know that part. I just think that this is take more naps. You should never put yourself in a situation where something could happen or it could be perceived that something happened. I agree 100%. I think you respect your relationship, and I would never do a thing that put my relationship in jeopardy because I respect it and because I love him. And I feel like this is walking a line, and I don't want to walk that line.
If you do, you accept the associated risk, right?
Yeah, and I don't want that risk. Like, I don't want that in my life. So.
Well, and if you were in a relationship with somebody who had been, yeah, totally.
He's hot.
If you were in a relationship with someone who had been burned several times previous to your relationship, and you knew they were already sensitive to that, and you're accepting the associated risks, you have to ask yourself why.
Yeah.
You gotta ask.
Yeah, even if it isn't cheating, she isn't trying not to cheat. I don't know. It's just, I think, I don't know. It's too...
Around and find out.
It's too gray area for me. I think that's the right thing.
Yeah. Also, every time I see 2.5 hour lunch, am I the only one that automatically sees 2.5 inches?
Yes.
Okay.
Did Jim Bro bring a bottle of Vaseline?
Yeah, Nausea Commander. Yeah. A Jim Bro,
great.
big bottle of
That's
Vaseline. You know, it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, it was a big bottle of Vaseline. You know what I mean?
Chapped lips.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.